Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's the last day of the week. Basically, when it comes to the markets, tomorrow's going to be interesting. We have a core index coming out with most of the markets closed. The only thing that'll be trading tomorrow will be the currencies and probably the stock indices. I haven't seen an email yet on what the schedule is. Don't ask me why. Usually they tell me 2 weeks ahead of time. I probably saw it and deleted it. But let's just double check. See, I would imagine they'll have futures open for enough just to be able to get in case someone needs to hedge their position for Monday. It's going to make Monday a very interesting market. Monday's going to be like, depending on how this number comes. And then we just had another Fed official come out and say, well, more than likely this year will be a year we will cut rates this year. But when, we're not sure. So, yeah, as much as Mr. Powell keeps on trying to tell us we're going to have 3 cuts, and the dot index at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which follows that and trades a contract on it, is telling us that there are 3 rate cuts possible this year. At the same time, we see the dollar. We have the dollar index up on the screen there. You can see that. Dollar index is basically saying, not so fast. Don't get too excited. It's it's not happening at this time. Not now, later, basically it's saying. Not now, later. So that's the action we're seeing. Let's get the chat line up, too. It's 2 minutes into the broadcast, and I haven't started the chat line. Let's get that going also. So, now we've had 2 major board members of the Federal Reserve that are respected, at least generally respected, because who can say what these characters are anymore? But in the end result is they are respected or considered at least having a brain in their head, and so they're saying, no, not that quick. It's not going to be 3. It's going to be 1. So now you've got the Fed chairman doing that Securities Exchange law. He keeps on breaking it. In other words, fair disclosure. He should say, I'm saying we're having 3 rate cuts because we have to buy bonds, and we need them to be cheaper, and because we have to sell other bonds, and so they're trying to knock it down, and we're supposed to help the party in power to keep the economy straight. That's what it should be, fair disclosure. That's what there's an actual law by the Securities Exchange Commission. They created it, I think, in 2001, 2000, even right around there. It's called fair disclosure. And that is, you're not allowed to announce something publicly unless you first tell everybody how you benefit from it, if you benefit from it. You can say, I don't benefit from it, and then announce it. But if you benefit from it, then you're supposed to tell everybody first why you benefit from it, and then announce it. And our Fed chairman loves to just throw things out there, and doesn't tell you and me how the Fed benefits from it. And so it seems like they're always breaking the law. Somehow or another, they're always breaking the law, and they don't care. That's the funny part. They don't care. So, all right, let's get that chat line up on the screen and see what's going on there. And the answer to that is, there we go, bingo, bango, bango. And we'll see. So far, just Robin. Hey, Robin. Yesterday was Yano's jumping in on some stocks. A couple of people were asking about stocks and so forth. But I really thought about it today. It's really unfair, especially with the way the dollar index is up and the way the interest rate is down. Matter of fact, let's put that on the screen and take a look at it right there. There's the 30-year bond. And you can see they sold it off. They gapped it up yesterday. And today they're pushing it down even more. It's the second day in a sell. Let's put that line in there. Right there. There's the daily. And then the weekly is piercing down. You can see the fast algorithm on the weekly pushing, breaking the bottom manifold. And you still see this slow. The green line in the white histogram, that's the slow algorithm on the weekly, and it's still staying in the buy. So they're kind of trapped in this. It does look like a head and shoulders, though, at the picture you see right there. that looks like a Head and Shoulders. And then all of a sudden, when you make it further out, you can see, remember traders, when the bond is going down, interest rates are rising, right? We're looking at the price of the bond there, not the interest rate. And so when it's rising, the price of the bond is going up in value, and that means interest rates are going down. So this little curve here and this algorithm turning into the negative side is saying that they're not happy with the idea of pricing in 3 cuts this year. That's what it's trying to tell us. All right. So from what did I just click on? I clicked on something. I guess it's all right. Yeah, it seems fine. I can still see it without worrying about it. Oh, I know when I wanted to get rid of this thing here. It says dismiss. Let's get rid of that right there. There we go. And so from here, we go back over to oh, you can't even see it. I just said it without showing it to you. Oh, yeah. See right there. So when it's going down, this is the price of the bond. That means interest rates are going up. When it jumped up, the price of the bond jumped up, it meant interest rates were going down at this point right there. When this is going down, interest rates are rising again. And then when it's jumping up like that, interest rates are going down, which is what people want, lower interest rates. And now you can see here the pressure's been on it. The price of the bond has been going down. Interest rates have been rising. And these last 7 days, since we went into the daily buy, basically right there, that's why we put the line in there to show you the algorithm being over, and then going into the weekly buy the same day, no less. You can see that the bond price was going up and interest rates were dropping because Powell had that little conversation with everybody telling us, oh, we're going to be cutting 3 times this year. Maybe he was thinking in a calendar year, like let's see, when does the Fed get going? Is there like really a point where, like in the Supreme Court, starts off in the last week in September or first week of October, and that's their calendar year starting, not January in a sense? And so maybe he's really thinking out loud. It's his calendar year of following the markets and so forth, and lowering rates and doing this and that and raising rates, and maybe he means his calendar year 3 times, which could be like for the next 12 months or something like that. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because you got some pretty successful Fed chair and vice chair and president of the Federal Reserve coming out and saying, no, we're not seeing 3 rate cuts this year. So we'll see. It's going to be entertaining. They love to play. Yes, indeed. Hey, I'm a monkey. All right, so let's go over to... Let's see, that is there. So let's go over to, back to the dollar index, just a quick look again. And it's popping up. You see the weekly's been rising right there. So that when it's going up, the dollar is gaining against everything. And it's been in a buy here for a bunch of days. We have it over here in our other platform. Doo-dah, right there. There we go. And you can see it right there. The dollar has been rising. And that was it. Oh, look at that. It's going after this now. Interesting. We were fascinated by yesterday's news, or, not news, but it was a story about the idea that putting the CPI together with money supply, trying to measure the value of the dollar. I thought that was a very interesting thing. I mean, we look at them in this way. We're looking at, like here, we go over and we take a look at, which is a little surprising, the way they smashed the euro this morning. They're not happy about that story about the idea that interest rates are only going to go up once or go down once this year. And you can see the pressures on it with the weekly too at the same time. They push and they push and they push. And it tried to get into the buy there yesterday, and it doesn't seem to want to be there. And it's pushing right back down into the sellish territory. And you can see the daily algorithm in the minus, and the weekly. Let's see, where's that? Right there, is it? Let's move that up. Let's widen that a little bit or something like that. There we are. And put that little circly thing right there. So it looks like it's going to climb into the weekly sell the way it's acting at the moment. Tomorrow, the news that's coming out tomorrow will have an effect on the currencies, because it is definitely an interest rate inflation indicator. that everybody's staring at, and they didn't really they didn't really announce it very clearly. The professionals knew about it, but it's just starting to get some grip on the general. They're realizing now that Monday could be a really exciting day because that could really freak out the action. I mean, really freak it out. And that would be neat, in the sense that we have something coming up with most of the markets closed. It could be a wild Monday. Monday, wild. Indeed. So, all right. Let's see. Where do we go from here? Let's jump over to. Let's see. Let's kill that like that. And let's take a look at. Oh, we got the euro up there now, so we might as well start moving through the currencies. Let's take a look at the British pound. Oh, you know what? I always like to, when I forget that we have the intraday now. I like to look at the intraday just real quick all the time on some of these nice active products. There's gold. Let's take a look at the euro right there. And you can see here, it went into the buy right there off of that one, and didn't go into the sell until literally right there. I guess it is right there. This one right there, it went into the sell. Lasted 2 bars and back into the buy again right here. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. So you got to do the same thing here. 2 and 2. So it went into the buy right there, and it's still in the buy. It's our intraday, just like this was the buy for the intraday here, back about about an hour and a half ago, and then it went into the sell right here, and went back into the, never did it? It stayed in the sell. So it went into the sell. Where was that at? Right here, and stayed in the sell all the way out to right there. That's where the sell went. Went back into the buy there, then slipped back into the sell here. Notice it does follow, it leads like 8.5 out of 10 times. So when you're using options, combining options with that makes it a lot easier to trade, that's for sure. All right, from there we'll jump now back to the British pound. And at the same time, I think I'll throw that in there and then we'll go back and look at it. Right there. There it is right there. And British pound doing the same thing. Trying to roll over, playing with the weekly sell. Today, it's going to be interesting, how we'll see what comes out tomorrow. If the news erupts it and makes it go flying one direction or the other, or vice versa, they don't take it serious because it's not a bad number. Somehow or another, it's definitely exciting the market. At the same time, this week is a shortened week because of Good Friday. And so we're semi-open a little bit for like an hour or half an hour on Friday. And so it really has the markets, at the same time, it's the end of the quarter, January, February, March. It's the last day of the quarter, for trading. And so, there are funds out there that need to do things. They need to be able to have their position adjusted for the end of the quarter. So we're seeing all kinds of wonderful pressure in all kinds of directions. Let me take a sip of my tea here. All right, done sipping the tea. There we go. After 15 minutes of talking, that feels good. All right. So there's the cable showing us that same situation. Matter of fact, we can zip over to the Euro GBP chart just for the fun of it. Right there. And you can see here it's rolled over for the last 3 days. Went into the sell right there. Fell down the last 2 days. And it's flirting. It's still in the weekly buy. It's just on that edge. So, and then we'll go back over to here, the intraday of the cable itself. Wow, that was a good one. Went into the buy. Let's widen this. This is intraday, so it's always fun. It was 3 bars. Pushed it into the buy, so 3 bars. Let's see. Right here. It went into the buy on this one. And stayed in the buy all the way to, I guess right there. Fell down, went right back into the buy again, ran up to here, and then fell down there, went into the sell there, fell down just for a bar or two, back in the bar again on the buy, and that went all the way to right there. Oop. Right there, it went into the sell right there. We can put a line in there. It makes it easier for people to see. That's why we do that. Change the color to white and extend it like so. There it is. That's where it went into the, well, one back further. Right there, it went into the sell and went all the way to there. It went back into the buy there. And it's still in the buy, but it's flirting. It is flirting. You know, it's zigzagging that. Remember, both colors have to be above the 0 line. So in other words, the green and the light blue have to be through it. You know, so that's why, you know, sometimes you see one on one side, like, see, where's it at? Well, there's the buy right there, but right before it, you can see it goes into the sell right here, where both lines are through it. We highlight it. You see both are minus, I believe. So, no, not there. Right there. See how there's plot 4 is a minus, plot 1 is a minus, plot 6 is a minus. That's the ones we're watching. Actually, we're only watching the green and the blue. We're not even looking at the plot 1. And so when they're both minus or both plus, but if they're mixed, then it still stays in the trend that it's in. And that's the way we explain that. All right, from there we jump over to the Swiss. Let's take a look at the Swiss saltine. Right there. There, you know, it's been in that daily buy since right there. Been in a weekly buy since back in here. So every daily buy was worth trying to grab a hold of, and there was one right there that didn't do too well. It did go down, but you know, it wasn't a winner at all. So it gave up a little profit from this move. Then it went into the buy here. Failed again, gave up a little profit from this nice good win, and then still in the weekly buy. So you don't really trade the sells, you just stay neutral, so you don't get beat up from them. That's all. Sometimes it's better to not lose money than to and not make money. It's okay to not make money, but the key is to not lose money at the same time. That's the key. And be ready to make money when you're set to do it. Like right here, it finally straightens it all out. These sloppy things, these two sloppy things, which are rare to see to occur. And that buy has been in a buy ever since, making all the money you would want to take care of the two little trades that you didn't make money on. And so that is the Swiss. And as they fight their way through this inflation factor, they're like the guiding post to it as far as I'm concerned. And then from there we go over to the yen. Now the yen hasn't been this high. Yesterday was at the highest point since 1990. How about that, huh? 1990. Yeah. So, and the stock market over there today did take a hit a little bit. We'll show you that next. But let's just show you the yen right there. It touching 52 was, you know, is like a, what's that? 1990, 34 year, hadn't touched that number since in 34 years. And then you can see we're just like heading along. Now we're getting into the sell right there. And it's trying to, but again, it's in a weekly buy, so you don't really want to play with it. Let's put it that way. What else can we say about the yen? Well, let's do this. Just give you a quick view of the Nikkei in case we get tangled up. And it's not the worst either. You know, I mean, they sold it down about 400 points, which doesn't look that much on there. And it's still battling from being in the buy, or trying to get into the buy today. But, you know, it's, let's scroll that down. It was in the sell for the last couple of days, and it's trying to get into the buy. Our weekly seems to be heading south also. So being up this high, these are all-time highs up in here. So maybe they're trying to take some profits. You know, you know, Chinese have been Japanese. I'm sorry, Japanese have been doing candlesticks and things like that for something like since the 13th century. They traded rice and a few other products throughout all those centuries with candlesticks. That's why people go to study candlesticks a lot of times with the Chinese. I keep on saying Chinese. The Japanese. I don't think the Chinese were that organized. All right, now let's go back to, let's see where we're at. The yen, right? Yeah, we're at the yen. There is the Turkish lira. You can see it was higher than yesterday so far. We're in 3 days in a buy. Sometimes I look at it and I kind of think, it will tell us a story, more than just the story of Turkey itself, the what the euro is thinking. Because this is the euro Turkish lira pairs trade. So, I always think, geez, what's it trying to tell me? What is it trying to tell me? Well, obviously, it's telling us that even when they drove it down into the 34,500 area, or was that like 34,500? I guess it's 34.5. It couldn't stay down there more in a couple of days, and they had to turn back up. And that's that's what the weekly's been trying to tell us since September. Yeah, since September. So, we've seen this product do this many a time now. Or that's why we call it the Great Experiment. We're fascinated to watch it just from the fact that it does things that most industrial nations don't do, and that is devalue their currency from, that large a devaluation. It's one thing to go like they were talking about the Chinese devaluing their currency. It'd be like 2 ticks, So in other words, like 35. See how, right? See, can you see that? Now let's put this up here. So there's the Turkish lira, and you can see there it's at 35.0917. Okay, so let's just say 09. Well, it just goes from 0917 to 42. So what is that? That's 25 points. And it just drops 10 points. Then it drops another 10 points. I mean, these numbers, the Chinese are talking about moving a tenth like that from 34 to 32. I mean, it's so small what they're considering fixing compared to what goes on with Turkey. And I always try to figure out, they have a lot of, property against, physically, you can drive your truck in and sell your goods or you can drive your truck in and buy goods from Turkey. It's not like you have to ship it 5,000 or 6,000 miles on a ship. So, I always try to think, what is, location. What does looking at the second largest economy in the world? That's the European Union, and that's what the euro represents. And then, what is it trying to tell us when we see the way it treats the euro? I'm sorry, the Turkish lira. How it treats it, and that's what I'm always trying to figure out is what is it trying to tell us. Sometimes I come up with what seems to be logical, sometimes we don't, but the math keeps us safe. So that's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what I want to try to interpret. The best thing is that we usually are protected by the math itself. All right, let's see, where are we now? So from there, let's head down to South Africa. And there is this, we were playing with that triangle yesterday. This is $500,000 in cash. This is when it started, that mess. And yesterday we identified that we should write in there, gold was at $1,650. Let's do that too. Let's see if I can do this. So if I move this over, all right, gold was at $1,650. That's why, we're saying, the South African rand is not really representing the metals complex anymore as much as it used to. Let's make that 18, like so. There we are. So that was gold, $1,650. And So once that news came out, and they tried to get him to resign, and when they couldn't get him to resign, it really turned into a fiasco. You can see how choppy it became, and then it started to run away. Now gold, on the one hand, it's run up to 2,200, which normally from 17, that would put it down to around a 13 and a half or 13, or it could be even the 12s, depending on how good economically they are. At this point, obviously, they're not that good in economics. All right, so this is the South African Rand. Let's widen this now. Like that. There we are. Let's widen a little bit more. It's going after that triangle thing that we've been looking at and identifying. Try to go like that with it. Tighten it up more. Maybe it'll climb all the way up to, up into the 19s again. It's just at 19 now. And you can see it's pushing itself into the sell with no problem on a weekly basis, which would be very bullish. That's a bullish thing for the currency, because when it goes down, it's gaining against the dollar. When it's rising, it's losing against the dollar. And then what we do is we go over here and we take a look at gold. Gold, and gold. There we are. And there's gold. So what you see here is, gold is actually rising. You would think that, like we go back to look at the South African Rand, we think, it should be heading down. Gold usually rises when it's going down like that. But in this case here, they don't care. They're not paying attention to it. Now, we've noticed at the end of the days here in the States, at the beginning of the Asian market type of thing, we notice that it seems to fall in line more. But during the trading day, it can be very sloppy. Very, very sloppy. All right. Let's take a look at silver this morning. Gold is going for all-time highs again right there. And there's silver. And that's silver right there. Silver's really not doing too good, but at least it's getting through the zero line. We've got a green and a red. Maybe there's a good spike like that hiding in silver now, like a half a dollar or 75 cents on the upside hiding there. And I guess if we get into a buy, it could come pouring out, especially with it in that weekly buy since the 22.75 area, and now we are at the 24.75 area basically. So the weekly has been telling us over and over and over, try to buy the daily buys, and they've worked. But here, this one didn't work right there. Let's put that in there, or maybe it did, but no, it wasn't that. So it's right there. There's the daily buy, and it failed miserably. There we are. But, we're thinking that maybe, it will join in with the gold and start launching itself, which would be really interesting. That would be very positive. Let's see, GDP. Oh, GDP did come out. 3.4 versus 3.2. So the GB, that's right, that came out as we started the webinar. Let's take a look at, let's go to the intraday stock market, the S&Ps. They're saying that problem is that the GDP grew, but our debt grew bigger. So in other words, we're paying for it. It's not growing on its own. That's the problem. Well, you can see here, let's see, this is where the news came out at 7:30. Is that 7:30? Let's put a line in there. That is that 7:30? What is that? That's that big pop right there. Right there, 7:30. So this is it right there. There's 7:30. And so let's just make it yellow. There we go. So that's where the news came out, and it went down from the 311 area down to the 303 area. Now we're at 309. So not too excited. It took some work to get it into the sell there. Look at that. The sell didn't happen. Let's make this line go all the way down. Let's see. Cancel. Extend. No. No. Alright, so it doesn't want to extend. So we'll change that from get rid of that. Let's put on there. It's just to show you. At least we identified it. There we go. Like that. Make it gold and extend it. There we are. So it went into the buy there. It was alright. You know, it's faster than a speeding bullet. And then it went into the sell right there. And it made back whatever it gave up here if you didn't have a good stop. Because remember, if you bought it here, where it goes into the buy right there. Is that it? Yeah, that's the buy. So it goes into the buy right there. You know, you got from 308 to 312 to figure a way of taking some profit out of it. Then it goes into a sell right there. You have a stop so you don't lose any money. That's good. So there's 2 wins out of it. And then your next buy is right there. Let's move this over. There's your next buy right there, intraday. And it's just now flirting with the sell as we speak. What do we have? We have 612 ticks to go, 603 ticks to go. 540 ticks. 500 ticks, basically. 505. So we have a little bit more to go. And you can see the numbers on the side here, right there. Now it's at plus 10 and minus 17. Oh, now it's zeros and minus 25. Now plus 10, minus 17. It may stay in the buy. Look at that. And we've got 327 ticks to go. It's plus 20, plus 30, minus 8, plus 10, minus 17. It's still in the buy if it closes like this, and it's got 228, 184, 171, 156. Now they're both plus, no less. But all we need is one to stay in the plus to keep for it to go. There's 109, there's 70, 60, and it's still plus. So maybe the next one we'll get a sell. There's 9 ticks, and here comes the new bar. 8, 9, 15. So we're still in the buy from here. And that's how that works with the intraday thing. That intraday thing. Remember, traders, you can ask questions or just take a look at one of your favorite products that you'd like to see through the eyes of our math. Don't be scared. It's okay. We like to look at everything. All right. Let's go back to, where were we? We were here, right? Yeah. So there's silver. Let's take a look at copper. Copper's still pressing down. We were a green and a red yesterday, getting ready to go to the buy, and now it's doing it even worse. It won't get into it. And we're still in the weekly buy, so it's holding up some good strength in there. Let's see. From the copper, we will shoot over to the platinum. Right there. Platinum's been a buy for 4 days, and it's trying to get back into the weekly buy as we speak. So that is that's kind of cool. You know, we're always surprised that anybody would sell this stuff. 50% off of the all-time. It's worse. It's almost like 57% off the all-time highs. You know, it's weird. No, wait a minute. I think the all-time high was even higher. I think it was over 3,000 at one point before they somehow or another manipulated the market. Yep. And so, what's next? So what's next is, let's see, go over to the energies. See what the energies are up to. There is crude oil, activate, and I don't know. There's some brokerage houses constantly pressing the idea that we're going to see $100 oil by September, which is really wild. I'm not sure what the logic is there. Of course, the way this world is, anything's possible, especially with Mr. Biden. I was going to say Mr. Obama, playing games with, our oil market, buying from Iran and Venezuela and buying from anybody you can buy from. All the fascist states. But there's oil holding up well. 4 weeks in a buy. Just marching along. Let's put that up on the beta platform. Beta. If anybody wants to use the beta platform, they can use it for free for a couple of weeks if they'd like to try it. Just contact Robin. There is crude oil. Let's put it up on the screen here. You can see it's lifting up in a buy for 4 days. Weekly buy for 6 weeks on our beta. This is our platform here. We're just having a problem still getting this to show the update until after it's not showing it during the day. It only does it after the day. Same thing with the weekly. So we're working on the code to write that. Well, we thought it was just like a shift of the calendar, but it's not. It needs a different code. All right, now from there, let's see, where are we from there? Let's go over to 222, the Brent. There's Brent doing the same thing, heading up. No, what? Oh, that's 86. Good, okay. So that must be 88 up there. Let's just make this so you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, there you go. That's 80. For a minute, it looked like 67. I was like, what's oil doing at 67? But there's Brent trading at 87.32. And it's pushing up, and let's just send it back to there again. And you can see, weekly buy for 5 weeks. Daily buy, a lot of daily buys, only 2 sells out of, what's that, 6? That's 5, and 4 is 9. So 9 out of the last 11 days it's been in daily buys, the Brent oil. And then from there, natural gas. Right there, and still pressing down and below the weekly sell now too, in that, which is interesting because it found a way to get in the buy, which is really hard to believe. What's that all about? Oh, okay, yeah, is that right? Do I have the right thing there? NG. There, okay, that makes more sense. I was going to say that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, we've been in a sell for 10 weeks, and you can see here, was that 3? And 6 is 9. So out of the last 90 days in trading, 3 months back, only 9 days of daily buys and the rest were in sells. You can see the pressure was on it, and obviously you can see a lot of red pushing down. And then we go over to Spain and take a look at the energy company that usually gives us a heads up on what's going on, and we're assuming that it'll probably be trading around $20 a share. And you can see that right there. It is. It's just above it. There. Yesterday it closed at 20.03. Today it's trading at 20.10. Not moving too much. You can see lots of sells. Same thing as the natural gas. That's why we follow it. It follows the natural gas stock-wise. And a full clean 3 months or 10 weeks of weekly sells since the end of January. So that's the energy sector. That's the metal sector. And what else is there to be said about any of that besides what we just showed you? Let's see. Let me see. What else do we got going on here? And then from there, we'll go over to, let's go take a look at the stock in. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go right to Bitcoin, and then we'll go to the stock indices in the Pacific and Indian Ocean area, and then we'll go to Europe and so forth. But let's take a look at, where is it at? There it is, Bitcoin right there. Cryptos looking firm, going on a fifth day of a buy. It's been in a buy since what's that? Right there, the 24th. So there's the 24th right there. You see it. It even has the date right there. So it's been in a buy for 5 full days. This is the 6th day, or this is the 5th day, marching up. They try to knock it down. It's not doing too good a job. The cryptos are holding on very well. We talked about that yesterday, how who in the world would want to buy a central bank crypto? So they can turn it off on you so you can lose your equity? That's why people buy cryptos, to stay away from the central bank, not get closer to it. Just shows you how demented they are. Or let's put it this way, how ill-equipped to understand the market anymore. There was a time when central bankers actually understood the market. Now, it's like open season on being stupid. They're allowed to be stupid. Like the transitory thing. People are still making jokes about it. Almost a year and a half went by, and they were just like, oh no, inflation's not here. Don't worry about it. It's going to go away next week. Next month, it won't be there. And then like 15 months later, they went, oh, wait a second. Maybe inflation is here to stay for a little bit longer. It's not transitory. And so that was the real fiasco of it all. But, so there is the Bitcoin. Let's go over to, again, we go back and take a look at the Nikkei in Japan. You can see lots of weekly buys. It's gone from 36,000 to all-time highs. That was the all-time high right there, I believe. Right there. Not that one, but a couple days before it. And then, there's another all-time high right there. Let's see if we can get this thing to do that. There it is. That was the all-time highs right there. So, it's been exciting to see after, I think it was 93 last time it touched an all-time high, or 89 or something like that. It's been a while. So it was like a 40-year high almost, 35-year high or something like that. From there, we'll go over to South Korea, to the Kospi, right there. Same situation, holding firm. Daily's been in a sell for a few days, but overall it's holding firm and high. And you can see weekly, it's been in a weekly for 10 weeks. Then from there, we'll go over to Taipei and look at the index there in Taiwan, the Taipei. And that's the same thing, 10 full weeks in buys. Same situation, climbing up. It's basically like the chip index in a sense, There is a chip index, SMH. We should put that up on the screen one day. Chase it down. See how that's looking. That thing has flown. I mean, just flown to the moon. Then, let's go over to the Nifty 50 right there. Woo, nice move after the holiday, huh? 3 days in a buy, going on a 4th day now. Yeah, it's 27, we're 28. So, that's the 28th. But we're not seeing this until tomorrow. So, we got 3 full days going on a 4th day of buying. So it's the 4th day. So that's pretty cool. And the weekly has been 9 out of 10 weeks in a weekly buy. From there, we'll go to the other Indian Ocean country that we follow, and that is the All Ordinaries out of Australia. You see, doing that. Wow, look at that! It's doing the same thing. So it's definitely an Indian Ocean thing going on. Then from there, let's see. So, let's check out Hong Kong. We'll shoot back to the South Pacific. There's Hong Kong. Yeah, it's firm. Not bad. They nailed it yesterday, but it's firm today. It's not too bad. This is a third day in a buy. It's definitely all over the place, that's for sure. And it's in weekly sells, though, so you wouldn't be playing the long side. And then let's check out the Hang Seng in Singapore, in Shanghai. It's here somewhere. There it is right there. Hang Seng. Playing with the sell in a weekly sell for a few weeks. And it jumped today too. I guess maybe the end of the month, putting a lot of pressure on a lot of products. The buyers are trying to come in, I guess. That's what it really comes down to. And then, let's see. Interesting. All right. Let's go to Europe. There's the DAX. Trading at all-time highs again, and same thing. Look at all those buys. So that's 8 days in buys. And 10 weeks in buys. Dipping down a little bit, but still in a buy. Take a look at Paris. You see the same situation. They're buying it again. It's in a buy for a couple days. And let's see. Let's scroll that. Right there, it's weekly buys for 10 weeks also. So there's nowhere else to go but buy equities, I guess, at this point. And then the FTSE. There's the FTSE. FTSE's doing the same thing. In a buy for 7 days. In a weekly buy for 9 weeks. Very positive there. Very positive. All right. From there, we'll jump over to the American continent and look at our indices and then call it a day. Unless someone wants to see something. If you want to see something, let us know. And we'll go look at it real quick before we leave. Let's go to the S&P 500. Right there. Climbed in the buy yesterday. It's the second day in a buy, and it's holding relatively firm. Just steady. Been in a weekly buy for all 10 weeks here that we show. NQs. Now NQs are interesting, as they did not get into the buy there yesterday, and they're pressing down. I thought they had gotten a buy, but they did not. So this is the fourth day in a sell, and the weekly is flirting with the sell signal too as we come into the end of the week. Interesting. And now from there, let's go over to, let's see. Let's go check out the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You see, it jumped into a daily buy yesterday. It's in a weekly buy, and today it's still in a buy. So that is the action we're seeing there. And then let's take a look at the weakest of our indices that we pay attention to, and that is the Russell 2000. Let's see. Where are you, Russell 2000? I was holding my microphone. Let me just put it around my neck. There it is. Russell RT. There it is. Now the Russell is lifting up and showing some real strength. It's the second day in a buy. And it's been in a weekly buy for the last 10 weeks. So not too bad. Not too bad. Now we can go over and let's go take a look at the intraday again with the S&P 500. I guess it's still in the buy, it looks like. That was the yellow line we were watching. Oh, no, okay. No, wait a minute. It went into the sell right here. Let's move this over. So it was in the buy there. It went into an intraday sell there. went down very poorly, but went down. Went back into the daily buy right there, and had it gained again, and then broke down, and now we are back into a daily sell right there. I put it into the daily sell. All right, and that's the intraday of the S&P 500. I guess what we got to figure out is, what is today's title? I started off saying that the Fed, with the way they talk, the amount of talk that they do, which is so odd. Never did the Fed ever talk this much and yak this much, and but they do. And so I guess it's like they're like the ultimate insider traders. The Fed is the ultimate insider trader. And that's how we started this webinar off saying, this Fed is just out of control. It's just very poorly managed. No other way of describing it. The Fed chair comes out and says 3. Now you've got Fed governors coming out and saying maybe 1 this year. I mean, why did he come out and say there's 3 cuts coming over the next 7 months or something like that? What's in his head? What is exciting him that much? Where you see GDP up 2 ticks. That's even worse. That GDP being up 2 ticks today means you shouldn't be cutting. It's screaming, don't cut. I saw a Fed governor yesterday that I trust, who's retired at the moment, who may become the next Fed chair after Powell. And he said, how did he say it? He said they talk too much, and if they cut rates now in a stock market that's at all-time highs, it'll be the first time ever the Fed has done something like that. That's the bigger question. It's at all-time highs, and they want to cut interest rates. Normally, the Fed would raise interest rates to slow the stock market down, not to make it so over-exuberant, I guess you could say. All right. So, now, from there, let's see, where do we go? Oh, yeah, we want to put the title in. What's the title of today's webinar? Title. So, the Fed is the #1 insider trader, I guess, or the top inside trader. Something like that. Inside. The Fed is best inside trader. We'll say that instead of the is. Fed is best inside trader. That's what it comes down to. All right, traders, we're pretty much done for the day. We will be here tomorrow for a number that's even bigger than today, but that GDP today of up 2 instead of being 3.2, it was at 3.4, says you don't cut interest rates. Not that you do cut interest rates. What can you say? It's not being run by the adults anymore. That's what it comes down to. All right, traders, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, traders, for those that'll not be here, have a happy Easter. We'll catch you on Monday, and we'll be here tomorrow, and we will be here Monday. So, ta-ta for now.